Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
This is my boomstick.
Here's Johnny.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Righteous! Righteous! Yeah!
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Houston, we have a problem.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
All right.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host today, as always. My name is willspalding, as always. And as always, I'm joined by sjdierberger, as always. Sam, what it do?
It do quite well, as always.
Good.
How are you today, Will?
I'm doing good. The sun is shining. You know, it's warm out. It was cold, oddly, here the past couple days, but it's back to the low 90s, so that's good.
We can finally enjoy moderate temperatures again. Right. We're not equipped for the Minnesotans are not.
No, we're not good with the 90s. Give us like the low 80s or the negative 20s, one of the two.
And you split your time between the tropical shores of Iowa and
I do.
and Minnesota. So
well, it's
yeah,
further south. That
right. Major humidity difference.
Absolutely.
Two different time zones, really.
Yeah, not in terms of actual time zone, but in terms of feel, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, hey man, it's good to be back here talking about what are we talking about today?
Today we're going to be talking about calamari by your name. No, I'm just kidding. I saw that joke on Letterboxd. I thought it was pretty good. No, today we're going to be talking about Luca.
We do not go anywhere near the surface. Got it? Everything good is above the surface. Walking, air, the sky, clouds, the sun. Whoa, don't look at it. Just kidding. Definitely look at it.
Oh, Pixar's Luca. I was a bit confused because I thought it was about the Mavericks point guard Luka Doncic, but I must have missed them. Went into the movie completely confused. So, no, just kidding. Pixar's Luca. But first, Sam, as per our contractual obligation, we have to talk about Indiana Jones 5. We brought it up with our lawyers. We said, hey, we've talked about this a lot. Do we have to? And they said, yep, you have to talk about it. So here we are. I mean, what are you going to do?
What? All right. Well, if you want to get into it, let's see.
Yeah, that's what the law says. So.
Well, law's the law. Where did we last leave this story?
I don't really know. It has actually been a couple weeks, but you definitely know more than I do. But all I know is that Mr. Ford broke his arm or his shoulder or something.
It's an undisclosed shoulder injury,
which I didn't see coming because he's such a youthful guy.
Well, I mean, God, it's like this is something you should be worrying about decades down the road, not right now, Harrison.
Yeah, I mean, he's only 78. I thought this guy could do fight scenes like it's his job.
Yeah, well, when you live fast and loose in Hollywood, you know, pretty quickly. So, he's not like every other 78-year-old. We got to keep that in mind. But no, I mean, anyway, you know, we have Harrison Ford injuring his shoulder, which it sounds like based on the press release, what really happened was like he was rehearsing for a fight scene, and then it was like one of those, I think I did something there, but then he kept going, and then he woke up the next morning and was like, you know, like, which in a certain way is probably more reassuring.
Sure.
It wasn't like an injury where you just absolutely just destroy something right in the moment and you're screwed. But yeah, so there's that going on. Toby Jones has joined the cast of the film.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think filming is still going to continue without Ford. They'll just probably do the scenes where he's not in, I'm assuming, for the time being.
Yeah. Yeah. They're just going to move things around
I thought I read
for the next few weeks. Yeah. Which is also reassuring because it's like they said weeks, not months. So,
yeah, that's good too. You're right. Do you have a release date on that, Sam?
July 21st, 2022, something like that. Which I highly doubt this is gonna push things back. I mean, they've only pushed it back 6 times, so
Yeah, I see. July 28th.
July 28th. Okay.
You're almost right on, actually.
I'm usually right on when it comes to these things.
Specifically Indiana Jones 5, which is weird because I'm only aware of 3. So
yeah, I don't know. They just decided for stylistic reasons that they would skip the 4, go right to 5, which is understandable. Because I'm sure if there was a 4th one, it would be very, very bad. So
yeah,
they would probably cast someone like, I don't know, Shia LaBeouf or someone. That probably, I don't know.
Well, I mean, he's just so talented though that it'd be hard to pass. Did you see Transformers, Sam? Because all I saw there was raw talent.
All I saw was raw talent as well. I mean, the thing that struck me about Transformers, I saw one of them. I don't remember which one it was. But the thing that struck me was that Obama made like a cameo appearance. From like, it was a one from like 2010. And Obama made like a cameo appearance, or at least his name made a cameo appearance. Like it happened in our universe. Like President Obama has declared a state of emergency because the Transformers have come to Earth or something.
Yeah, that's weird. Actually,
That's strange.
Now that we're kind of talking about this, I wasn't even going to bring this up, but there is a new Transformers movie coming out, Sam, with our good buddy Anthony Ramos in the lead.
Oh, sure, why not?
And tell me, Sam, if this is the great or greatest movie title you ever heard. Transformers: Rise of the Beasts.
That's the best I've ever heard, period.
Well, you see, it makes sense because they're robots, so it should be called Oh, wait, no, that doesn't make sense. My bad. Oh, and
unless, think about this.
Yeah, I'm here.
No, this is pretty wild. This is kind of an out there theory, but maybe. The Transformers are going to be fighting giant beasts. Nature versus nurture. Like nature versus robots.
Oh, it's a prequel. Yeah, we need to know. We need to know how the Transformers came to be.
That lore. I'm very much. Well, I never claimed to be a Transformers expert, but
I do. So I'll let you know if you're correct or not.
You have a PhD in Transformerology.
Yeah. Lot of research papers. So yeah.
I never understood the lore of Transformers though. Like, what are they?
I couldn't tell you. They're giant robots that have blood. It's okay. But it's the blood is oil, so it's good.
Oh, okay.
And they're from a different planet, but yep, they can still transform into a car that was made on Earth. So
a very human-looking car.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're done talking about Transformers before I just have a stroke. Sam, it's been a slow movie or a slow industry week. Do you have anything else to note on indie related? Not Transformers related. You'll be kicked off the show.
Well, I mean, I could talk about Indiana Jones for hours and hours. We have alleged script leaks.
I would like to
Which
hear about that.
you would? Okay, well,
Yeah, give me a rundown.
this was based on a leak from I think a guy on Reddit who claims to be involved on the film for whatever reason, and he posted a picture of like the front page of the script, right?
Okay.
And allegedly, now please understand, do not sue us for libel, please, if this is incorrect. But allegedly, the title of the film will be Indiana Jones and the Order of Elysium. I think.
Really bad.
I think that's what it's called. But here's the thing, and they did this with the fourth one that doesn't exist, but they did do this with the fourth one as well. They like to float. They do a lot of intentional leaks.
Okay.
Whoever they is, and they float a bunch of different names around.
I hope that's not it, because that sounds really bad.
Order of Elysium, something like that. And supposedly, it will involve Harrison Ford being de-aged. For some portions of the film. The film will take place sometime during a span of 1945 to like 1967.
Okay.
So the theory is that will start with some unfinished business that he had with the Nazis back in the tail end of World War II.
Right.
Because we've already seen him riding a Nazi motorcycle.
Yeah.
During a chase scene that they were filming with the stunt double wearing like a young-looking Harrison Ford mask. So that's certainly possible. And then Mads Mikkelsen will play this kind of ex-Nazi scientist contracted by the United States, NASA, to be part of the space race. And then there's this, the MacGuffin is going to be this rock of some sort that, this mythical rock that enables time.
Elysium?
The Stone of Elysium, something like that.
Yeah.
And it allows the user to travel in time.
Oh, okay. We can skip that part. But
so I don't know what they're thinking here. I'm a little concerned. Needless to say,
I'm gonna trust James Mangold. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think he's handling it well so far.
I'm gonna trust Mangold up until we can't trust Mangold. That's my plan.
Yeah. Which fair enough. I should also mention, to add to the de-aging theory, there's definitely been photos of Harrison on set with like the dots all over his body, his face, a la Irishman. So, I mean, it's looking like that's going to be the case. Supposedly, there was a young British kid because they're shooting just north of London, I believe. There's a British kid who saw Harrison Ford on the street and goes, "Oh my goodness, are you Harrison Ford?" And Harrison looks at him and says, "Nah, I'm just a stunt double," and keeps walking.
That's the most Harrison Ford thing I've ever heard.
So, that's the update.
That is fantastic. Oh, Harrison Ford, you old curmudgeon.
Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful man. We don't deserve him.
True statement. Well, Sam, with Indiana Jones talk out of the way, you're welcome, lawyers. Please don't call me. Should we get into Luca?
Yeah, let's get into Luca.
Julia Markovita, we underdogs have to look out for each other. What's hundreds of dogs? This is my dad. What do you think he kills with those?
Anything that swims.
Your life is so much cooler than mine. There's a million things you think you can't do. All you need is a chance to try.
All right, Sam. Here we go. Pixar. I think this is our, I think only second time talking animation and our second time talking Pixar. So I mean, I guess this is just a trend now. We just do all the Pixar movies because, you know, they're pretty consistent and pretty good. But yeah, I suppose let's just get started on Luca, and we can talk Pixar kind of at the end.
Sure.
What were your anticipations for Luca, or you know, going into the movie, and then follow that up with general thoughts?
Yeah, you know, I had heard about Luca and really didn't have any anticipation for it. I just didn't really think about it until you texted me last week and said we need to do Luca coming out on Disney Plus. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then I realized it was a Pixar joint, and I was like, oh, Pixar, this will be good. And then, you know, I saw it, and it wasn't. Here's the thing. It's complicated because it's like I expect this out of a run-of-the-mill Disney movie, this kind of quality. But for Pixar, it just felt like it felt like a step back, especially after coming off of Soul. You know,
Yeah, sure.
it just didn't. Well, also, I was a little jarred by the beginning because I was like, "Oh my god, this is very Finding Nemo-esque." This is.
It was. I thought the same thing.
I was like, as Pixar, perhaps the most creative studio in movie history in terms of concepts. Like, their concepts are really out there. Their premises are ridiculous.
Oh,
If you read all of what?
DreamWorks, but sure. Shrek.
Yeah, DreamWorks too. But Shrek's its own thing. But with Pixar, it's like their concepts are always out there. So I'm like, really? We have to go back to like the living under the sea thing? Like,
Yeah.
you couldn't think of anything creative. Then as it went on, it got better because, you know, we'll get to it, but they go above the surface. So that was part of it. But by the end, I was a little underwhelmed. I thought it was a good movie. I wanted more out of it, I suppose.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess those are my initial thoughts. What do you think?
It's interesting you saying that because this movie has been kind of received in different lights. Some people have been kind of down on it, and some people have been high on it. So it's interesting for sure. Not saying you're down on it, but that it has been kind of both sides of the spectrum. But yeah, I kind of had a similar anticipation for it than as you did. I mean, I was super excited for Soul, and I knew about Luca even before Soul, but was really anticipating Soul, and then obviously we both loved it. And then I honestly forgot about this movie, and I knew it was coming out, and I was anticipating it. And then for whatever reason, it blanked my mind for like 2 months and wasn't thinking about it. And then we saw each other in person for the first time in a long time, and we were kind of thinking like, what are we gonna do? What episode? And then we were like, I don't know, there's just nothing out. And then the next day I was like, oh my gosh, Luca's coming out like in a day. We'll just do that.
Yeah.
So it was a weird thing where I didn't anticipate this movie in the short term. Maybe long term I have been, but not super recently. I kind of forgot about it. And I have a similar experience with you at the beginning. Through about the first third, maybe even do a half, I was like, yeah, this is good. This is a good movie. I mean, it's not like Pixar does bad things, really. This is good. And I kind of thought, I was kind of thinking, like, man, Soul is just so hard to follow up on. It's not like, can't really blame them, you know? I mean, it'd be impossible to follow that movie up. And maybe it still is, but
Yeah.
got about halfway through the movie and it kind of takes a turning point, and I still thought, I'm like, man, Pixar can't miss. I love this movie. This is real good.
Wow.
This is not top tier Pixar, I'll say that, but
No.
still really good.
Okay.
And
All
maybe,
right.
we'll maybe at the end of it kind of get into where it might sit on our Pixar pantheon.
Yeah. So yeah, I just think that it was underwhelming, and maybe that's because of coming off of Soul. That Soul, one of the more like mature,
Right.
thematically, one of the more mature Pixar movies that we have. You know, that and The Incredibles,
Really,
probably the most philosophical. Yeah. Any animated movie, period. And then we have this, which is just kind of like thematically by the end, I was just like, wow, that just felt like every other animated movie. Boy with dream who can't, for whatever reason, fully integrate himself into society. And then that dream gets realized. It just felt small. It felt under ambitious. The entire time I felt like I was watching a short.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it does have a little, like, a short vibe. Yeah.
It felt like a short. And this might be kind of the animation, in my opinion, kind of took a step back as well. I think a lot of the naturalistic imagery was quite good. And this is such a privileged complaint to make.
Yeah.
Because the animation wasn't good. You know, Pixar's on the cutting edge, you know, of computer animation. So yeah, but like just looking at the people, the humans, I'm like, this is not at the same level as Soul, you know, and they were produced around the same time. So I figured there would be a little bit more work put into them. But I guess it was a different style in animation, even, I suppose.
I think that's a good point. It is a different style, because I kind of thought the same thing too. I thought, you know, I really like the creature design of the sea monsters. I thought, you know, it's simplistic enough, and I thought the transformation was really cool. I had the same thought at one point in my head. I thought, you know, this doesn't look as good as Soul does in terms of the people, but I thought, you know, this is what they're going for, though. I mean, honestly, you can animate. I bet Pixar can animate something and then it looks like almost like a real person, to the point where you might not even be able to tell. So it's really just what they wanted. I thought in terms of landscape and nature, like you were saying, looked fantastic. I mean, we had a little clip in Soul of water, and I thought I kind of realized, like, oh, that was just them testing the water. That was a major pun, but that was not my intention. It was almost them
the water
testing to see if they could do it, and then they put water in here, you know,
testing to see if they could do it. SEA. Okay.
Right. Testing to see if they could do the water kind of coming ashore and on people's feet and things like that. So I found that kind of cool, but I really like the animation. I mean, Pixar's the best at it, so it still looks good, obviously. But in terms, it's going to be so hard to talk about this movie objectively, because I feel like we've already said it like 15 times. But compared to Soul, So, but you're right. Compared to Soul, the animation is slightly lackluster, just barely. It's not a huge drop off, I wouldn't say. You went from like a 95 to like a 90 flat, so it's
Right.
not the biggest deal to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, get into some more specifics. What did you like? What didn't you like?
Yeah.
Specifics, and get into spoilers. We'll just hit spoilers too.
We're hitting spoilers earlier and earlier, I swear to God. But it's good.
Eventually, the first line I'm going to say is, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Here's a spoiler of this movie, and then I'm just going to spoil it right off the top. So,
ladies and gentlemen, Luca goes to school.
Boom.
No,
spoiled.
I was going to say Luca dies.
I thought that's where you were going with it,
but he doesn't. That would have been funny, though. I'm awful. So Jacob Tremblay.
Heard of that kid.
Oh, how old is this kid now?
12, 13.
He's getting up there in years. He's 14. He's 14.
God. Well, he still looks real young.
Wow. He does. He does look quite young. His father is a police detective and his mother is a homemaker. Huh. How about that? Sorry. I didn't know that about him. So Jacob Tremblay still has, we talked, he's 14 years old, and he still definitely has that, he hasn't really hit puberty yet, I don't think. So he still kind of has that high childish voice. And I thought it was a very interesting move by Pixar to cast an actual young person as to voice act as a young sea monster.
Yeah, he's 14, probably voicing like an 11-year-old or something.
Yeah, something like that. 13-year-old sea monster is what it says here.
Okay. So it's almost dead on then.
Yeah, it's almost dead on, which, I was reflecting on this. I'm like, you don't see this a lot in animated movies. Or any animation, really. If you have a young character, if you have like a childish character, you get either a woman or maybe a guy with a higher voice, but they're usually adults who voice these child characters, right?
Yeah, correct.
So that was very interesting. I don't remember the last time I saw that, because voice work is a very nuanced art form.
Absolutely. It takes talent for sure.
It's not easy to do. And I thought Tremblay did a decent job. He eventually came into his own. Or I eventually appreciated it after a while. It was kind of just knowing it was him, that young of a person. It's kind of, I don't know. It's hard to do. Like I said, voice acting is hard to do. So we had that. We had Maya Rudolph as his
mother,
his mother, which was good. She has a great mom voice.
I'm waiting for you to say it.
Yes. Yeah. Jim Gaffigan as Lorenzo. Yeah. Who continues to make his foray into Hollywood.
Yeah. Dude, he's
he's really moved quickly into some mainstream stuff. I mean, just 4 years ago, he was doing, Chappaquiddick, which was just about blacklisted by Hollywood because it was critical of Ted Kennedy, which is a very good movie, by the way. You should check it out. But also, not really a mainstream Hollywood film, and he kept doing these kind of indie films, and now he's scoring Pixar roles like out of nowhere. I'm like,
he's got a great voice too, and he can do a lot with it.
He can do a lot with it. He's a phenomenal voice actor.
He's so great. I love him.
So that's good.
My recommendation for this week,
Yes, you definitely should. And Sacha Baron Cohen shows up in a cameo. Did you know this?
Where was he? No, I didn't know this.
He did. I'm just realizing this now. I'm looking at the cast billing. He played Uncle Ugo, Luca's uncle and Lorenzo's brother.
Okay, I lied. I did know that because I thought this guy sounds like Borat, and then I looked it up and I was like, oh, it's Sacha Baron Cohen. I literally already forgot, but I was like, this guy sounds a lot like Borat. That was funny. It was a funny.
His accents can even Sacha Baron Cohen's accents have limits, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to say is the voice acting was pretty good. Everyone did a good job.
Yeah.
I just wanted to comment on Tremblay because I thought that was pretty interesting and something we don't always consider.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah. I liked that. I liked the sea monster design, like you said. I liked the idea of setting a sea monster story off the coast of Italy. I like any kind of sea monster stuff because I like mythical legends, stuff like that. You know, I've always said, you know, I like things that Robert Eggers is also interested in making, but Robert Eggers hasn't been able to make yet. Like make well.
That's so true.
I'm waiting for him to make something like this, but like a horror movie, you know, with involving sea monsters off the coast of Italy, like a small Italian village. That would be really cool.
Yeah, no witches or mermaids in here, so I was out. Done.
Well, and I mean the mermaids aren't even attractive, so whatever.
Nope. Out.
Maybe we should just get Robert Eggers to remake Luca, live action adaptation.
Could you imagine? Oh my God, Sam! Could you imagine some kids getting? I mean, this wasn't in theaters, so it doesn't really apply. But some kids sitting down for the new Pixar movie, they're so excited. They've been waiting for it for months, and then it's just a Robert Eggers movie. But it is Pixar, but Robert Eggers directed it, and it's just so disturbing and so weird. And then the kid ends up being
the twisted mind of Robert Eggers. It's just like the kid's traumatized.
Yeah, well,
you could actually get Tremblay in there to play Luca and like have him like going to therapy for the rest of his life because of what occurs on set.
Right.
You know, like, oh my God.
And Eggers is like, okay, this is the moment where you just kind of stare off kind of right above the camera and then just start laughing maniacally. So just do that. Okay, then.
You got it, Jacob. Take one. So yeah. So anyway, I liked that whole concept. I thought it was a good concept. But again, I just thought setting wise, we were pretty limited. We had the sea, which isn't much. It's just essentially Luca, his parents, and his uncle, Sacha Baron Cohen, that shows up.
We're really not in the sea very much.
Yeah. So there's that. And then we just have this small Italian village with people of varying accents. That's the other thing that's interesting is you have it's the movie isn't really consistent on which people like there's some actors that are going for an Italian accent in English, and then there's some that just don't do it, which is fine, but it can take you out of it for a bit. I feel like that might be a bit of a nitpick. I don't know what you think.
It didn't bother me.
Okay. Fair enough. So yeah, and I thought the setting was a little limiting. We kind of have the same few characters, but by the end, it's actually quite satisfying because we see the protagonist go off to school on a train, a very human thing. He's going out to see the world. I can't believe we haven't brought up the Little Mermaid yet, because this is like, Nemo and the Little Mermaid had a baby. Not literally, but you could take that. Well, yeah, Robert Eggers might take that literally.
He probably will.
But yeah, it's kind of like that, because we have Luca, who's just dreaming of a whole new world. That's from A Little Mermaid, right? Yeah,
Aladdin. I think it's Aladdin.
Oh, dang it.
Definitely Aladdin when they're on the carpet, I think, or the rug, whatever.
No, but there's another song. There's a song in Little Mermaid where she's like something about a new world. She wants to be at the surface, right?
Yeah.
Right, and she transforms into a human, right?
Yeah.
Like, same thing. Which, by the way, in Luca, this whole like transforming from sea monster to human thing is never really explained.
No, it's kind of just there. Again, nothing like that really bothers me, especially with an animated movie like this, where rules kind of can just be made up. As long as you just tell me, like, hey, you go to the surface, you just turn into a human. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm there, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think too much into it. Maybe it's animated sea monsters, suspension of disbelief. That's all it is to me. But I could see it. No, it's not that, and they are consistent with the rules, right? Like, they get wet, they turn into a sea monster again. Yeah,
right?
That's a good bit.
They're consistent with
Kinda,
and it works well. It works really well. But I just thought it was interesting, because I was expecting some sort of like, no, Luca, you're half human, like some sort of moment where it's like, you're special. Why are you able to transform? And then we find out that his parents can transform into humans too. And all sea monsters can transform into human, which opens up a lot of different possibilities. So I don't know. I just thought like it was kind of a bit of a culmination of a lot of the different devices and themes that Pixar had attempted before. I also detected some dashes of like Monsters Inc. in here, like the fear directed towards monsters, this feeling of being outcasted, very prevalent throughout. So yeah, I don't know.
I think where Pixar really succeeds is you have a really simple plot. You mentioned it. It's really just this kid who doesn't want to be in the sea. He wants to be on the land. And how does he do this? He meets someone. He meets another sea monster who already goes on the land and essentially lives on the land, actually. So really easy setup. And basically we just get to live in this world, which I think works really well. And really where this movie succeeds most for me is that Pixar understands humans and understands emotions. Sometimes I feel like you don't get that with animated movies. Animated movies will kind of show like, hey, here's the theme, beat you over the head with it. And maybe Luca did that too, but here's the theme, and we're just using these characters as a vehicle to get you to that theme. But here I really feel like these characters are also discovering the theme. I don't know. It's kind of a dumb way to put it, but I think Pixar just understands how to utilize characters and emotions. I mean, they have freaking movies based on emotions and things like that. So, right. I think that's where it mostly succeeds. The character interactions are great. I mean, I love all the stuff with oh crap, what's it? Alfredo? Is it Alfredo? His friend?
Alfredo, no, Alberto.
Alberto, that's it. Well, pasta sauce, Alberto, whatever.
Yeah.
So love the interactions with Alberto and Luca, and then you bring in the girl into the mix, Julia. That's great. Then I also really like the kind of plot point of family not in your family. You know, we see this. We see Julia's father really kind of adopt Alberto as, you know, his kind of son, and it's not explored a super amount, but you see that, and I really like that. And let me just say this, Sam: best movie to take place in Italy, where there's a triathlon, and you can't argue that. Where there's also sea monsters.
I
don't think you can.
I don't know. That genre is quite big. That's a big.
But I just.
That's a wide net that you're casting there. But yeah. Also, I mean, I laughed a few times during this movie because it does have some moments that are quite witty and funny, and when we find out that there's a pasta eating contest involved in the triathlon,
I thought that was funny. You're right.
I was like, oh, that sounds horrific. Trying to bike up that hill.
They don't run. They eat pasta.
They eat pasta, which is almost like, yeah, it's stereotypical, but when you think about it, it doesn't even make sense because it's like,
no, it makes no sense.
Don't you think Italian children, like for them, pasta is like, I don't even know if there's an American equivalent to pasta in Italy.
Yeah, burgers, but it's not the same thing.
Yeah, it's like eating, like, I don't know,
a happy meal.
Fries. I'm like, it's so, I don't know. What I mean is they're used to it. But also, speaking of which, we haven't even gotten into Ercole Visconti, the local bully of Portorosso and the film's main antagonist.
I have a couple thoughts here.
Okay.
So I really have two main complaints with this movie. This antagonist is one of them.
Yeah.
Not that he's bad, because I don't think that's it. Or not that he's a bad guy, whatever. But not that this character is necessarily a bad character to watch on screen. It just feels a little. It feels sometimes forced slightly. I don't know. I think that character. I think that's the obvious choice of like, hey, who's our antagonist in this movie? Well, it's about kids, so it's got to be another kid, and he's kind of the bully, and he's slightly older, so it's a little just slightly cliche, but yeah. It's effective enough. So
sure. Yeah, I thought he was. You know, there's some moments where he's quite funny.
Yeah, I thought
because he's
such an idiot. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
He's just dumb.
Yeah.
And he's not even like powerful.
No, he's adorable.
With animated films, you have this like wealthy, powerful, you know, evil guy, and right. he's just like a local punk. Like no one is intimidated by him, really.
No. Or you shouldn't be.
And maybe that contributes to like my feeling that this movie is just underwhelming. Like, it's not like he's this incredible biker that's pumping roids into his system. Like, he's just.
Well, we don't see it on screen, at least.
Yeah, well.
It's hinted at.
What's in those pasta noodles, you know?
That was a funny thing, too, where they're training and they bring out a bunch of pasta and say, you never know which one they're going to give you. Like, you're eating food. Why does it matter which one? Just
Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Yeah, but he's just an underwhelming antagonist because he's a schmuck. He's just like no one respects him. He's just a jerk to everyone.
Yeah. Really.
Like, I don't know. I thought he was a little boring. But you could say the real villain is the prejudice of the human beings in the village.
Yeah.
That is the real. That's the real.
The fear of the unknown.
The fear of the known.
Well, Sam, let's get into the ending a little bit here.
Sure.
You know, Luca and Alberto kind of. I thought this was an effective moment when Luca kind of disowns his friend and eventually does go apologize to him, whatever, and makes it right. And I really like that moment, though. What did you think of that?
I also liked that. I thought that entire friendship with between Luca and Alberto was really well done.
That was such a cool shot, man. When he stands up and it's made to look like a horror thing, Alberto gets into the water to show that he's a sea monster, and he stands up and it's kind of dark and grim, and he's made to look really tall because it's positioned, or if there was a camera, it'd be below him. That was such a cool shot.
Yeah, very well done. And I just emotionally, I felt those.
Absolutely.
I thought all of that worked really well. You know, I just thought that the relationship between Luca and Alberto was Alberto's jealousy that he displays towards Luca and Julia. I thought that was real. I thought that, or felt real. I thought that Alberto's lack of a father figure in his life, he's kind of this archetype of a lost boy, really, an orphan.
Yeah.
Who spends his days living alone. I thought that was really well done. So yeah, I liked all of it. You know, Alberto was a really good character, and then we see this beautiful sacrifice by Alberto in convincing his parents to let Luca go away and to let Luca stray away from him, which is the definition of a good friend. You know, someone who wants the best for you, not for themselves. So I thought that worked really well.
I think the ending's the best part of the movie. I kind of hinted at earlier. I kind of was going through this movie and was like, yeah, you know, this is a good movie. This is a good movie. And then I got to the end and was like, oh man.
Yeah.
Pixar. Yeah. I think that's what sealed it for me.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, there was not much to seal, but
sure.
The ending.
I think that's the difference.
The ending is definitely the high point.
Yeah.
I think we agree on that. So yeah, well done. I don't know. Did you have much more to say about Luca?
Not with Luca necessarily, but I want to ask you, Sam. I guess where does this kind of sit in your Pixar pantheon?
My Pixar pantheon. Oh God, I don't know.
There's 24 Pixar movies to give you an idea.
I need to see more Pixar movies. We might have talked about this.
You need to list on Letterboxd, dude.
Everyone has a list on Letterboxd.
Yes. Be more basic, okay?
Be more basic. Let's see. I've seen A Bug's Life. I've seen Great.
It's Cars 3-1 for you. You love Cars 3.
Cars 3, obviously.
And then it's Cars 2. You just can't get enough of the Cars.
I can't get enough of Cars. You're right.
Mostly the
You're
sequel,
right.
though. And then you love Finding Dory. So that's your top 3, right?
Finding Dory, you know, The Good Dinosaur is also up there.
Yeah.
Of course.
Good one. Good pull.
No. I mean, I've always been staunch with this. I mean, The Incredibles is not only the best Pixar movie, just the best animated film ever. I gain a new level of appreciation. I gain a new level of appreciation for The Incredibles every time I watch it. It's a new level of depth. So good.
Good film.
So good. I don't know. This is low tier. I feel Luca is low tier. I mean, I'd put it down with the did I even see Cars 3? I don't remember.
Well, that was your first favorite, so obviously you saw it.
Yeah, I mean, I beyond the 40 times I've seen it. I mean, have I seen it again since then? No, I'd put Luca down with like the Braves of the world.
Really?
God, Brave is such a weird movie. Why does that exist? Where did that come from?
Sam, this funny story with Brave is Brave just feels so Disney, right? Like Disney animation, correct?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
coming out the same year was Wreck-It Ralph, and Wreck-It Ralph just feels so Pixar.
Right.
And well, that was going to be the case, but Disney animation was like, no, screw that. Wreck-It Ralph looks so much better. We're taking Wreck-It Ralph. You guys have Brave. Is what it came down to.
That's so funny.
And Wreck-It Ralph is obviously is a pretty good movie. So
Yeah, I was gonna wonder about that because in my head I've always associated Wreck-It Ralph with Pixar.
yeah, but it's a weird thing.
But I would think that with Wreck-It Ralph they had to get ridiculous amounts of licensing because there's like 40 different like trademarked things in there.
Yeah, with the video games and everything, right?
Yeah, so they needed the Disney bucks to make that work. Yeah, so I don't know. Interesting. Where would you put Luca approximately? Let me find your list. Do you have a list?
I do, yeah. Yeah. I have Luca sitting at 11 right now.
Okay.
And it'll probably move down a few spots. It'll go anywhere from like 11 to 14.
Okay.
Which seems weird to say. Like you'd be like, oh, it must not be very good. But this is Pixar, so it's like, well, but it still is good, you know?
Worse than Toy Story. Toy Story 3 is worse than Luca in your head.
Man, I haven't seen Toy Story 3 in so long. I was going on like a Pixar light binge. I did like one every week for a little while, and then I got through like half of them and just stopped. I need to finish it. I have a feeling Toy Story 3 would jump up a lot, but I just want to see it again. So, yeah, Luca would probably go down, but for now it's at 11.
Wow. Okay.
Just ahead of Toy Story 4, just behind Coco,
Mm.
and then way behind Monsters University. So,
I know you love Monsters University.
well, it's tough to compete with.
Can you imagine that pitch meeting? We want a sequel to Monsters Incorporated. And the guy's like, hear me out.
Sounds great. Yep.
Not a sequel, a prequel.
Yeah, they're at college, and Sully's a partier, and Mike just really wants to be a scare, but he's a small guy, right? So he has to really work hard. But Sully, he's just so good at it, he doesn't even need to work. That's it. Oh, what do you think? Sounds like $800 million to me.
Ching.
Well, Sam.
Classic.
Should we get into some star ratings for Mr. Luca? Oh, I was so close. 743 million. My bad.
Wow. Good work.
Not bad.
Good work.
Not bad at all. But yeah, let's hear a star rating for Luca.
Oh God, I gotta go like 2.5 out of 5.
Wow.
It's just not that. It feels like it should be a short.
Interesting. Okay.
And maybe a long. I feel like that movie should be like 20. That movie could be 20 minutes long, and I would get the same emotional depth out of it. I feel like there's just not a lot.
Yeah, sure. How do you feel, Sam, that this is gonna likely win Best Animated Feature? Because it will.
I think the other studios need to step up their game then. Yeah.
There's a couple more out there. You know, we got Machines on Netflix. That was a good one. So there's a few. But
people need to try a little harder. I mean,
right.
For me, Luca is kind of Pixar on autopilot, I feel like.
Okay.
It's really a movie I feel like Pixar could make in their sleep. So I don't know. If it wins, I mean, I'm fine with it because
Sure.
it's a fine movie. But yeah, where are you at with it?
Well, so I had originally kind of slated it at a 3.5 range, and then as I was adding it to my my 2021 year ranked, I was kind of pitting it up against some of the movies, kind of figuring out where it's going to fall, and I ultimately decided I'm like, yeah, I like this better, or just a little bit less than some of my 4 stars, and more than my 3.5. So I was like, I guess I'm gonna go 4, man, and I might come down on it. We'll see. It's been recent, and time ages everything to perfection. So, it's funny. I said with Soul, I'm only gonna get higher on Soul as I get older. And I think it's the opposite for Luca. So if I had a metric like you, which I don't because I'm dumb, your fine wine quality, this would be very low for me.
Okay.
In that category.
Okay.
You know what I mean, so
Interesting. Okay.
We'll see where it falls in the long run. But for now, I really like this movie. So there we go.
All right. Fair enough.
Sam, that concludes another episode. But before we get out of here, should we hit some recommendations?
Yes, we recomendaciones. I have one ready
Go.
for once.
I'm excited.
Oh my goodness. I watched this movie Dirty Harry last week. God, what a movie. Clint Eastwood plays this. listen to the tagline, okay? Dirty Harry, 1971.
Yeah.
Detective Harry Callahan. He doesn't break murder cases. He smashes them.
Okay.
This movie, Clint Eastwood plays this like rogue detective in like early 1970s San Francisco. And there's a serial killer who goes by Scorpio terrorizing the town, right? And Harry Callahan, who has no ethical like boundaries whatsoever. Like, we'll do anything to track down criminals. Just goes after him. That's that. I mean, it's like the movie is so like shamelessly just shamelessly blunt in every way possible. It's incredible. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. It takes the action to ridiculous heights, but it doesn't even do it knowingly and doesn't even care that it's doing it. It's unlike anything I've ever seen, truly. Everyone needs to watch Dirty Harry.
Dirty Harry, interesting. Where is it on the streamings?
I found it on HBO Max. I wasn't looking for it.
Stumbled, okay.
It could be somewhere else too. And don't worry, Clint made 5 of them.
Oh boy.
So
it's on Tubi too. Perfect. You can watch it for free.
You can watch it for free on Tubi. How about that? So yeah, check it out. It's it's remarkable.
Is this are these other ones I'm seeing, is he playing the same character even? Or is it more like the $3 trilogy where he's a different character?
No, he's the same character. It's just different cases, different adventures, I guess.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check this out for sure. I've added it to the old watch list. Good.
Excellent.
Okay, I think I've heard of Magnum Force, which looks like it's the second one. Okay, so maybe I'm vaguely aware of what this is.
Yeah, I plan to watch all of them.
Good, man. I'm excited to watch that then. And then I'm such a completist. I'll watch all the other ones too. So that's perfect.
Yes.
Although sometimes Clint Eastwood kind of drives me nuts. He's kind of crazy sometimes.
Oh, he's and his acting in this, only he could get away with it. Like his acting is just dry as a board.
Sometimes he drives me crazy. But
basically just reading off of cue cards.
Gosh.
Might as well. But like the fact that he's in there and just giving it, just like doesn't apologize for it at all.
Yeah.
Is just remarkable to me.
How has Clint Eastwood looked like he was 90 since the 70s? I don't get it. Like
I don't get it.
This dude aged super quick and then just stopped aging. Anyway, all right. Now, that's a different podcast. Go check out our Clint Eastwood talk. Those Clint Eastwood nerds. Okay.
Yes.
It's huge though, trust me. My recommendation for the week is going to be, I spoiled it earlier, is going to be a Jim Gaffigan thing. And I'm recommending my favorite comedy special by one of my favorite comedians, that is Mr. Universe by Jim Gaffigan. It's kind of his most accessible one, I would say. I don't know if it's his best, because I like some of his other like maybe a little bit more. Beyond the Pale is a really, really good one, or St. Poe is really funny, but I think this is his most accessible. So I would say if you've never heard Jim Gaffigan, which I don't know who hasn't, but start with Mr. Universe, go from there. It was funny after I watched Luca, I was like, man, I need to listen to Mr. Universe again. So at work the next day, I threw that one on and just listened to that, and it's still good too though. So yeah, Jim Gaffigan, Mr. Universe. He's super funny, man. He's so good at just telling like it seems like just a random story and then making it hilarious. So there we go. Gaffigan, Mr. Universe. It's on Netflix too, so super easy.
And he's on tour this summer. So
really, that would be
that's
cool
pretty cool.
I might have to look.
I was thinking about going.
Yeah, I might too then. That might be cool.
Yeah.
All right, man.
He usually does that, when it's not COVID, but
yeah, I'm gonna have to do some research.
Where can you find me on Letterboxd?
Yeah, where can I find you?
Where can you find me on Letterboxd? If you're looking for me, you can find me on letterboxd.com/sjdierberger. And where can I find you, Will Spalding?
You can find me on Letterboxd at Will Spalding. And you can find this show at thosefilmnerds.weebly.com or anchor.fm/thosefilmnerds, or anywhere podcasts are found at Those Film Nerds, and Those Film Nerds at the Gmails. Email anything in, and love to talk about it. But Sam, until next time,
keep watching movies, everyone. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Ever thought about making a podcast? Well, Anchor is the easiest and simplest way to do so. Let me explain. For starters, it's free. There's also creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone, laptop, or computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on multiple platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, and much, much more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need in a podcast in one place. So give it a try.